now I'm starting with a cadmium red deep, and again I'll go over the yellow just slightly, so it kind of looks a little orangey there. And again I'll leave some gaps before I put down the next. Just want to lengthen them a little bit. So I'm going from cadmium red deep, and this is still the deep, and then I'll use the cadmium red medium, and then last of all on top I'll use the vermilion, which is a lovely lighter, softer red. So I'm just doing this like this to get more of that look that I want. I made the feathers shorter and shorter as I got closer to the top, because obviously you don't see, they're not full-length feathers like they are down here. And on the edges, I just sort of take the edge of the brush like that and just bring it down a little, just to give the look of the feathers going around the side. More of a feathery look. I don't think I'll do it on that side. I'll see it. Anyway, this might be covered by foliage. And so now I need to clean my brush and make this white and make the beak a little larger there. I've obscured it a bit. And then this has to be black, and the eye I think will be brown. I need to get those colours out. I've covered the beak with a layer of white, but obviously the beak is not pure white. It's kind of a mixture of a creamy white with a little touch of black around the edge, so that will change. And the feathers around the eye are very tiny, and they're also not pure white, but they are white. But hopefully the yellow will provide a little contrast. Otherwise I'll have to come back with a little bit of brown in between them, just to make them more realistic, more earthy. Well, from the photos I've seen, none of them are pure white, but photos are always so misleading. And if I have seen a macaw, I don't recall. Been to the world of birds where there were a lot of birds, but I don't remember looking at a macaw or getting up that close that I could say what feathers it had on its face. I put down a few more blue feathers, and now I'm going over them with a bit of white, just to highlight them a little. And the paint is still wet, so I mean there is a bit of blending going on, and that's okay here and there. I don't want it all over, because the highlights are not going to be catching the feathers everywhere. So I'll probably come back with another layer of blue when this is dried. I have put red everywhere that there needs to be red. I've done the tail as well. But of course that will need another layer. Everything will need another layer. I need the yellow to go up a little higher. And underneath the belly is a mixture of blue and red. That's the branch. And I can actually still see the outline of the branch through the multicolored background, which is very surprising. Because most of those colors were opaque, except for the blue. I think the blue is transparent, but the magenta is also transparent, depending which label, I believe. Anyway, so I'll leave it to dry now, and I'll come back later and do the next layer. I decided to make the most of the day, make the most of the light, and while I can still see these branches, although it doesn't really matter where I put branches, but I mean I do want him to be sitting on one, so I might as well use the diagram that I have underneath. I can see it on the phone, but not actually in reality, so it's a bit confusing looking from the phone. I'll just do it like that. And this is just a I want it to be not a smooth tree, not a smooth branch, jagged and going in all directions. And I also moved his eye, it was in the wrong place, and this is tree branch here, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget that. So I'm using raw umber mixed with a little white just to give that nice tree colour. Now, I never intended to keep this a lovely marshmallow background, but it is a pity to see it go. It's so pretty. I've picked up some blue on my brush. How do I do that? Okay, well, not a problem. So, as you can see, I've enlarged the tree trunks and added branches everywhere, and just with the flat brush, making it as nice and sort of textured looking as possible, just by the movement of the brush. And also it's clearly seen better days now, so it's getting a bit rough, but it's still useful. You can see sometimes I just use the point of it, sometimes the side, sometimes the flat, just to create that look. I use the flat, and I'll do the same here, just filling it in and making it nice and natural looking. And I'll do the same for the trunk. And most of the rest of them, the colours will be covered with leaves. So this, I guess, was step 4 was colouring, starting with the feathers, and now step 5 doing the trees. My Mary Macaw has turned out so bold and beautiful. I think I'm going to call him my bold and beautiful Mary Macaw. But he's far from finished. I'm still going to beautify him more. So I have a bit of a mixture of the violet grey and the blue, the cobalt blue on my brush. And I'm going to add another layer to the blue feathers. And just with the side of the brush, making thinner feathers and a slightly different shade. And so I'll see what this does. And then I'll add more yellow to the yellow part. I want to make it a bit extended a bit. And so this is part 6 now, just adding the second layer of colour to the bird. And then I will possibly add a bit more colour to the trees, although I'm liking the way the colour from the background is showing through. And maybe I should leave that. And maybe I'll leave that for now and just add the leaves, start adding some of the leaves first. And see how that looks. But first I want to really finish the bird, make him as beautiful as possible. And you can see I just made some subtle changes around his face, blending the black and the white and the yellow, and moving his eye to a better distance. And so now there's more shades of different colour in his face, but I will add another thin layer of feathers to his face with a small round brush. So I think the blue is looking nicer now. But again, how it looks when it's wet and how it looks when it's dry are not always the same. But that's fine as far as I'm concerned. So now I just need to clean my brush, and then I'm going to add another layer of the cadmium red medium here. First I'll do the yellow and then the cadmium red medium, and then I'm going to do the the lighter red at the top, the vermilion. That's already made a difference. I added another layer of the green as well, the emerald green, and now I'm adding on the layer. So this was initially a layer of the deep cadmium red. Now I'm doing the medium over it, and then it went into the medium. Where the medium is, I'm going to go over with the vermilion, and the vermilion will go all the way to the top. And if it's too dark, I might add a touch of white to the vermilion to soften it. But I want a bit of the blending of the colors here, where the feathers overlap. And so this wing also I wanted to bring down, it went too high. And all of these things make a difference to the ultimate outcome. So it does take a lot of assessing and reassessing and stepping back and leaving it to dry, and using the side of the brush now, and considering what you had in mind at the beginning and whether you're reaching that goal or not. Oh, I've got way too much paint in my brush.